An enemy.
On Monday, Respawn Entertainment released a new Battle Royale game called Apex Legends, and this is based off of Titanfall 2. In fact, I'm pretty sure they basically took the Titanfall 2 engine and everything they used to make Titanfall 2, and they used it to make Apex. So it was pretty smart of them, to be fair, because a lot of the assets work perfectly well with Apex. But if you don't know anything about Apex at all, it is a free-to-play first-person Battle Royale game, which is obviously developed by Respawn Entertainment. Respawn has made the Titanfall series, and the studio was also formed from half of Infinity Ward whenever they left because of falling out with Activision, that sort of thing. So a lot of the developers for the studio used to work on Call of Duty, at least initially. I'm imagining some of them have probably left at this stage, but a good portion of them used to work on Infinity Ward games like Modern Warfare 1, Modern Warfare 2, that sort of thing. The game is obviously heavily based off of Titanfall 2, as I've said. However, it is a bit more cartoony, and it doesn't have any advanced movement, so it doesn't have the double jumps, or the triple jumps, or the wall running, or anything like that. However, it does have climbing, and it does have quite good animations and running and everything, so it is as fluid as Titanfall 2 was. It just doesn't have the advanced movement aspects. But from what I understand, some YouTubers who went to the pre-release sort of playtests of the game, I would say, who give their feedback about the game. One of them has hinted that basically the devs can just turn this stuff on as they want, because it is basically built off of the back of Titanfall 2, so they can just turn on the advanced movement for a mode if they want to, where they can turn on wall running. So I think the game would work really well with wall running, but they can just turn it on as they wish, really. So it would be pretty cool to have that as a mode, which I would imagine they'll start doing at some stage. The game is honestly how I hoped Blackout would be. Blackout as in Call of Duty Black Ops 4's Battle Royale. The game feels more like a Call of Duty Battle Royale than Blackout does, because it doesn't feel clunky at all. Blackout is very clunky. Blackout is very cluttered as well. It's not easy to see enemies. The gun battles are just difficult. Although I'm sure you can get good at it. I'm sure a lot of people like Blackout and everything, but at every single chance they get, it seems as though Treyarch try to shoot themselves in the foot with Blackout. And this isn't meant to be a hate video on Blackout or trying to compare the two of them or compare Fortnite with Apex with Blackout, but obviously there's going to be some similarity because those are like the three main battle royales at this stage. So Blackout shoots itself in the foot at every stage you can get because of the dropping system is terrible, where you drop out of the helicopters and then you have to go down vertically and then level out. Obviously that makes sense because that's how physics works, but then the parachuting to actually land, it doesn't work. It's very wonky. It's very clunky, picking up everything. The animations are a bit weird, and the weapon balancing is much to be desired. It just doesn't feel finished. It just feels very clunky, whereas Apex on the other hand is very fluid and just works, really. The looting system in both games are very similar, where you have to pick up the ammo off the ground and you have to pick up the gun off the ground and you have to use the right ammo with the right weapons, and then whenever you kill an enemy you go over to their stash with their duffel bag or whatever it is, and you pick up their guns and gear that they had. It's very similar, those systems. In fact, they're basically the same, but Apex is just a lot cleaner. It's a lot more fluid with how they do it, because with Apex the animations are very fluid. You're able to easily and quickly define between what ammo type a gun uses, and the menu for picking up stuff from a duffel bag, from a killed enemy, from a dead enemy, is much easier because it's just a scroll screen. It just comes up to the left hand side of your screen and it's just a scroll. You scroll down the list and it's very easily presented, whereas in Blackout it's like a wee small menu that you have to a wee grid that you have to select from. So Apex is much better in my opinion, but that's just sort of what I think. So the game has a very fluid movement system, in my opinion, even though it doesn't have the double jumps and the wall running of Titanfall. Titanfall also was very fluid in just its animations and running and everything like that, so its movement system is very fluid. It has very good animations for picking up guns, climbing, throwing, everything just works. It flows into each other. It's not like you'll start picking up a gun and then do something else and the animation will just cut off. It doesn't happen like that. It's very fluid, It's a very fluid animation. I'm being very picky, but the point I'm trying to get across is all the animations just roll into each other. The environment also of the map that it takes place on the island is not cluttered at all, which is how I would describe Black Ops 4's Blackout to be. It's very cluttered. There's trees and grass and everything and everywhere, and it's just very cluttered, whereas there's almost too much stuff in Blackout, whereas in Apex there's features to hills and buildings and fields and all these things. There's features to them, but they aren't overly complicated, they aren't overly detailed. It's simplistic, but it's got features to the landscape. It's like Fortnite. It's like a in-between between Fortnite and Blackout, because Fortnite's very simplistic, it doesn't have any features to the landscape at all, basically. Whereas Blackout's got too many features, so it's in between. It has very good range of weapons, ammo types, and optics, obviously, as kind of is a given for a battle royale game. So, I don't really have any negatives to say about the game. I do have a couple, but I'll say it at the very end. But they are very big deals. So I'm going to go over all the good features, which are kind of new to any games that I've played. They're new features to me. So first off, there is the dropping system, as in dropping out of the plane or the helicopter thing that they have in the game. So the dropping system is very well made and has actual physics, similar to Blackout, because if you jump out of the plane and you go diagonally towards your destination, you'll go far enough. But if you go directly down and level out, then directly down and level out, you'll go much faster and much further. So, because obviously if you go directly down, you pick up speed, then you level out, you're still maintaining that speed. And then every time you slow down a bit, you go down and level out. It works much better. It is physics to it, and it works much better than the way Blackout executed it, because, yet again, clunkiness. The shield system is a combination of Blackout and Fortnite, I feel, because in Fortnite obviously you've got mini shields and you've got big shields, or whatever they're called, but basically you take 2 mini shields to get the 50 shield, and then you can take a big shield to get up to 100 or whatever. You can take 2 big shields, whatever. Small shields only get you up to 50%. However, in Blackout there is no shields, there's just armour, and you can repair the armour to get it back up to full health, but it just does a damage reduction. It still deals damage to your health, it just reduces the amount of damage it does. So there's 3 tiers of armour in Blackout. There's only 1 tier of shield in Fortnite because it's only a shield. Obviously minis and bigs are different percentages of shield being restored to you, but in Apex you need armour in order to get shield. So whenever you pick up an armour, there's 3 different types of armour. There's common, which is just white or grey, whatever it is, blue, which is rare, and purple, which I think is epic. And they go 2, 3 and 4 shield quadrants, I guess. So whenever you pick up one of the shields, it restores 1 quadrant, and another shield I think restores all of it, or restores half of it, I'm not sure, or 2 quadrants. So the way it works is it does give you another health bar like Fortnite. However, you do need armour in order to actually have the shield. So it's a combination of Fortnite and Blackout in my opinion, because you need the armour, but then the shield system is very similar to Fortnite. Another feature, which is actually really good, it's actually a really good feature, is that if you hold Y or triangle or whatever the switch weapon button is on PC, if you hold it in, it puts your weapons away and you're able to run faster. So if you're running away from the storm, you're able to go faster than if you had a pistol out or a shotgun out or something. Put away your weapons, you run like a lot faster, and you can slide down hills and you can just keep sliding, and if you jump into the slide you go faster. So the movement system, yet again, is based off Titanfall 2, it's very fluid. The ping system is an entirely new thing, which I think has been in a game before, but I just can't remember what game it's in, but it's a lot better in this game, where if you press RB or R1 on PlayStation or whatever it is on PC, it'll ping where you're looking at. So you've got a wee crosshair in your middle of your screen, press RB, it pings for everyone in your squad, which at the moment is only trios, so the other people in your squad. It'll ping for them and show a wee yellow marker on their screen, and your character will probably just say like, let's go over there or explore over there. If you tap it twice, it changes to red and your character will say there's an enemy over there, so that indicates there's an enemy. And if you hold in RB, then there's a wee scroll wheel of different options you can mark with. So tap it once, go over there, tap it twice, enemy over there, and then you can hold it in and select a different, I think there's 8 different options you can select from that wheel. So yeah, it's pretty good. It's a pretty good system, because it means that because there's only trios in the game at the moment, it means that you don't have to talk to anyone. So if you don't want to talk to anyone like me, you don't have to talk to randoms on any game that you're playing because it's just awkward and you don't really want to, then you can just use this system and it works perfectly well. Because I haven't encountered anyone who actually is talking in game, but this marking system just makes it so as your team can actually work properly as a team even though you're not talking, because the ping system just works. So that's a very good system, and it's a very good idea in Respawn's part, I think, and it's quite unique to this battle royale. It also helps, obviously, if you're talking to like friends in your squad, it actually helps as well, because if you know, in Fortnite or Blackout or whatever, any battle royale game, you say north, you know, there's enemies north of your position, but your teammate could be over a hill far away from you, and you say north. To them, north's a completely different area, so you need to press, if you press RB and ping an area of the map, it actually communicates it a lot better, because it'll come up relative to them as well, the actual position, so it works a lot better, and you're able to communicate better as well if you're talking to people. A pretty popular feature in games nowadays is a specialist slash hero system, so the likes of Overwatch has it, Call of Duty's had it for about 3 games, Black Ops 3, Infinite Warfare and Black Ops 4 all have specialists or combat rigs or whatever they are. They have supers, basically is what I'm saying. There's characters that have different supers, and you know, Destiny has the same thing. Hunters, Titans, Warlocks all have supers. Games nowadays, for some reason, have these systems, and they can make or break the game. In Destiny, it works perfectly well because Destiny's largely PvE and the supers are relatively balanced, so it makes sense and it is incorporated into the story and everything. However, in the likes of Call of Duty, it can break the game, because whilst it worked in Infinite Warfare, in Black Ops 3 some of them are just blatantly overpowered, which broke the game. In a Battle Royale game, it sounds stupid, because you've only got one life. If you die, you're dead, basically, and you don't want to die to an Annihilator or War Machine or something like that, because you're dead. You know, it's just stupid death, basically. But in this game, they're called Legends, and it's the first Battle Royale I know of which has this sort of system. So the way it works is how any other game works with specialists or heroes or supers or anything like that. Basically, over time, your super recharges. It charges up. You press LB, RB, R1, R2, or sorry, L1, R2, whatever it is. You press the 2 buttons in, activate your super, and you use it. In Apex, the supers are stuff like creating a portal which connects to each other. So imagine Portal, the game, where you have a portal gun. It's not exactly like that because you have to run to the locations and place down the portal, but it works the exact same. Basically, you run into the portal, teleport you over there, job done. It's pretty useful because then one person can kind of like run over the map and make your entire team teleport over. It works pretty well. But a lot of the specialists are actually quite balanced, surprisingly enough. Some of them are airstrikes and stuff, but you can just run out of the area that the airstrike's in. So that's kind of like an area of denials type thing. There's a support character called Lifeline, which has a wee medic drone which comes out as her ability, but her actual super is a care package which drops, which you can find them a lot, all over the map as well, but she can just call one in. And then Wraith, for example, has phase shift, which it isn't called phase shift, but it's called phase shift in Infinite Warfare, and I think it's called phase shift in Titanfall 2 as well, where you go into a different dimension for a few seconds and you can run around and no one can see you. So it's pretty balanced, in fairness. So it actually works really well, and the specialists, or legends as they're called, have their different characters, or their different personalities basically, so it works pretty well. In addition to all this stuff, a pretty unique feature for this Battle Royale is the fact that you can, in fact, respawn. And it would be a bit strange for a studio called Respawn Entertainment to not have this feature in their game. However, the way it works is if one of your teammates dies, then obviously their duffel bag type thing drops with all their loot. However, if you run over there and you access their bag basically, you pick up their tag, and then if you run over to one of these deploy beacons, you can upload their tag to the deploy beacon thing, and then they come back in on a ship and jump out of the ship and they're back in the game. The animation for that is actually from Titanfall 2. At the start of the match, you jump out of a ship and it's the exact same animation. So it's pretty good. It was a good use of an animation from Titanfall 2, but that's what it is. So you can respawn in this game, which is very nice, because usually in a Battle Royale, you could die at the very start. There could be one teammate left, and then there's no point in playing. You may as well just kill yourself, because there's like literally no point in playing. You're not going to win. And in this game, you can just keep playing, respawn your team, and it's like nothing ever happened. You just lose all your loot, but just reload again and you're fine. So it's a pretty good feature, and it's really nice actually. It saved me and my friends quite a few times, so it's pretty nice. Legends feel balanced, and guns are very balanced as well. However, the likes of the shotgun pistol, which I forget the name of, but it starts with M, is quite trash and needs buffed. So there's some guns which need buffed, but there's none which I would say are blatantly overpowered. And a lot of the guns are from Titanfall 2 as well, because I do recognise some of them, even though I didn't play Titanfall 2 that much, I do recognise some of them, so yeah. Some of the negatives would be, they're not really negatives, they're just kind of like suggestions, so quite a lot of pistols spawn around the place. There are like a decent few like ARs and DMRs and stuff like that and SMGs, but a lot of pistols spawn. Like a lot. So one recommendation I would say is probably try to make less pistols spawn and maybe a couple more shotguns or SMGs or something, because there's literally no point in having all these pistols, because as soon as you get an AR it's gone. So it's good for the start of the match, but you know, I think less pistols is kind of needed because there's way too many. The ammo was an issue at the start, however once you've actually learned what type of ammo you need and you've looted quite a few places, then you're fine. So at the start of the game, when you've started playing initially, it can be a bit difficult to get ammo, but once you actually understand how to loot stuff properly and you know what ammo you're using and everything like that, then it's pretty easy. Currently there's only trios in the game, so there's no solos or duos or quads. However, it is extremely likely that we're at least going to get quads and duos. Solos maybe not, because it is meant to be a team based battle royale game. However, I feel like they might give in to peer pressure and add it in anyway, so you never know. But yeah, at the moment there's only trios, but I imagine quads and duos will probably be added in eventually, and maybe solos as well. But trios honestly isn't bad. If you've got 4 players, obviously it's quite bad, but if you've got like 2 players and one of the other teammate is then a random person, so I've been playing with one of my friends recently, so it's just me and him, and then there's another random person every single match. It actually works well because you use the ping system and you can just ping stuff. You can also ping weapons and ammo and attachments and stuff, and your teammate or it'll show up on everyone's HUD as that icon for that weapon or that ammo or that attachment, and it'll also be said by your character. So it's really well thought out, so it is. And obviously, if you couldn't have guessed already, you can only have 1 legend per team. So you can't have a team of 3 lifelines or a team of 3 wraiths or 3 bangalores or anything like that. You can only have 1 of each legend in a team. So obviously that's for balancing reasons. So we're kind of out of the gameplay aspect now. So obviously a big portion of games nowadays is obviously the cosmetics and the loot boxes and everything. And thankfully this game's done it very well. So the shop and the cosmetics. There's 3 different types of currency in this game. There's Apex tokens, which you have to buy with real money. There's legend tokens, which you get by leveling up your account. And then there's crafting materials, which you get from loot boxes, which are called Apex packs, I think, in this game. So you get them from Apex packs. So there is a store in the game, which is very similar to Fortnite's and Blackout's, where they're on a rotation, weekly or daily, of different items, different skins, different character skins, different taunts or whatever, you know, finishing moves, all that stuff. There's a rotating store of items that you can buy the items with Apex tokens, which are actual money, or you can buy them with legend tokens, which you get by leveling up as well. So that's pretty good, because in Fortnite and Blackout you can't actually buy the items unless you use actual money, whereas in this game you can use actual money in Apex tokens, or you can use legend tokens by leveling up. So it's pretty good in that regard, and it's a very good feature actually. However, it does take quite a few legend tokens to buy this stuff, but I guess that makes sense, considering this stuff is like £16 each and stuff like that. There's also 2 specialists, which aren't, or 2 legends, which aren't unlocked by default. There are 8 in total. There's 6 unlocked by default, and then there's 2 you have to unlock with legend tokens. They do cost 12,000 legend tokens, and I'm at 6,000 at the moment, and I'm level 13. So it will take a while. You can just buy them straight up as well. I don't know how much they are, but you can just buy them with money, which I know a lot of people have done. I've seen them in game as being like level 3 and they have them. But that's your own choice. You can get them by grinding, or you can get them with actual money. It's whatever, it's your choice. So the other thing would then be Apex packs. So Apex packs are the loot boxes of this game, and they are very similar, I think, to Overwatch loot boxes that are in Overwatch, obviously. So the very good thing about this game is that they outline clearly what you can get from these loot boxes and also the probability of getting each different tier of item. So they tell you this on the screen where you can buy them, and you get Apex packs from leveling up. So every time you level up you get an Apex pack as well as the legend tokens, and you can also buy an Apex pack for 100 tokens or 10 of them for 1000 tokens. So approximately an Apex pack costs £1. So I don't know how many dollars that is, but approximately it costs £1. So yeah, what they can give you are weapon skins, legend finishers, banner frames, banner poses, banner stat trackers, intro quips, kill quips, and crafting materials. So what these are is weapon skins, obviously just weapon skins. Legend skins are just outfits for your legends. Legend finishers are something which has been in Titanfall 2 as well, where you can finish an enemy, so if they're down you can hold X on them or whatever and do a wee animation to finish them off basically. Banner frames are just different things for your banner. Banner poses, same thing. Banner stat trackers tell you, initially it just says how many kills you have, but then you can change it to like how much damage you've done, how long you've survived in total, how much damage you've done, all that sort of stuff. Intro quips are just wee things your character says at the start of a match. Kill quips, stuff your character says after you kill someone. Crafting materials, obviously, as I've already explained. So, the probability of at least one rare or better item is 100%. What that means is that every time you open a loot box, or every time you open an Apex pack, you're guaranteed at least one rare item. So you can get a rare and 2 commons, you can get 2 rares and a common, but you're always guaranteed to have at least one rare or better item. So you'll never get 3 commons. The probability of an epic or better item is 24.8%. And then a legendary item is 7.4%. So that's the probability of getting at least one of them in a single pack. So getting one legendary item in a pack is 7.4%, one epic or better item 24.8%, one rare or better item 100%. So that's just the probabilities that have been outlined by Respawn. Obviously in the game, it does tell you this in the game, which is very nice. 2 other features of the Apex packs are that you can get no duplicates, so it's dupe protected. You will never get a duplicate in these things, unless I would imagine you open an Apex pack and you have everything, but I don't know if that's even possible. So you will never get a duplicate from these packs. And you get a guaranteed legendary job after every 30 packs. So if you're getting absolutely screwed by your luck and you literally never get a legendary, then you will be guaranteed one after 30 packs. Even if you get like a legendary every single pack, you're still guaranteed one after 30 packs. It's just, I think it's just kind of like trying to counteract bad luck, so it's pretty good in that regard. One pack, like I said, costs approximately £1, and the crafting materials that you get from these packs can be used to unlock different items that you can get in the packs. So if you go to each individual legend, you'll see all their different cosmetics you can get for them. I've already bought a skin for Wraith, and I was using crafting materials, so if you can't get a specific item from the Apex packs that you want, you can just craft it using crafting materials from the packs, so it's pretty good. Overall, I really like this game. I'm not a fan of Battle Royale games. I don't like Fortnite, I don't like Blackout. I accept that Fortnite's a good game, and the Blackouts will be an okay game, but I just don't like the games, whereas with Apex, I actually really like it. And I think that's just because it's what I wanted a Battle Royale game to be. It's the type of game that suits me, where you kind of have to rush people and it's a bit more energetic and stuff. I don't like Battle Royale games where you have to kind of like wait around and play really cautiously and not go running out into the open and challenging people. If you do challenge people in this game, you can win. It's a lot more, I don't know, it doesn't feel boring to me. A lot of Battle Royale games is just you go around looting for 5-10 minutes, then you find one enemy and you die, whereas in this game you'll probably have to fight enemies quite a few times and you'll have a pretty good chance of killing them, and there's a bit of action. So yeah, in the future I would say, well, in the future they have said that we're going to be getting new guns, cosmetics and legends. They've said this already. There's a roadmap, which to be fair, it's a bit of a stress colour roadmap, because basically what they're saying is that every single season there will be new weapons, guns and legends, or new weapons, new cosmetics and new legends every single season. They basically said that, and as I've already said, some YouTubers have hinted at the fact that because it is built off the back of Titanfall 2, that they can basically just enable the advanced movement system from that game whenever they want. So if they want to add a mode for wall running and bush jumping from Titanfall 2, they can do that. So you could add a trios mode where everyone has the advanced movement system from Titanfall 2. You could do that. So it's pretty good. I like that because it means that we could see the return of that system, and it means they could even implement wall running into the game. I think bush jumping would break the game in its current form, however wall running would just work, I think. So yeah, but the climbing system works really well. Basically the way that works, if you don't know, is if you run up to a wall and you press jump and then you hold in jump whilst still pressing forward on the analog stick, you'll just climb up the wall. So if the wall seems a wee bit too big to jump up to, you can just climb up the wall. So it works really well. But honestly, it's a very good game. It's free to play, so you may as well give it a chance. It's 22 gigabytes, so it might take a wee while to download, but it is free. It doesn't cost any money to have. I have not spent any money in the game, and I already have a skin and a few different cosmetic items and stuff, and it's just what a Battle Royale game should be, in my opinion. You don't have to spend any money on it to get cosmetic items. You have to spend money in Fortnite to get cosmetic items, and Blackout as well. You don't have to in this game, and it just works. So that's about it. This went on for longer than I wanted it to, however I feel like it's justified, and yeah, I may make more of these videos on Apex, you never know. But I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please consider leaving a like, maybe even subscribing, and please try out Apex because it is a very good game. See you in the next one.